Hi guys, this tutorial is about the base of bag using tapestry crochet. This base is going to be different from the other ones, and I wanted to do a tutorial because I'm going to use it maybe in different bags, so I will just suggest you then this link, okay? So the base of this bag is going to be a rectangle. So to have a rectangle as a base, I have draw for you this one, and I tried to make these fancy graphics and all that, but it just wasn't working for me, so here it is. So if you see, at the first row we are going to add 5 stitches. At the second row we are going to add 10 stitches. At the third row we are still going with another 10. At the fourth row again with another 10. At the fifth and sixth with 6 and 6, okay? By adding the first row, by adding 5 stitches, we add to the total 5 stitches. At the second row, by adding 10 stitches, 5 here shown with the red and 5 here shown with the red, we actually add 8 stitches at the total. At the third row, by adding 5 stitches here and 5 stitches here, we add 8 stitches, and so on, as long as we add 10 stitches. At the other row, where we add 3 stitches at this side and 3 stitches at this side, actually we are adding 4 stitches, okay? So in total, in one side, as I have calculated, we are adding 74 stitches, okay? And this project I need in total 220 stitches. So one side is 74 and the other side is 74, so the remaining stitches are going to be 73 that I need, okay? But I also need 2 stitches for the sides to make the corners, so I will start this project with 75 stitches, okay? I will use this is cotton, and I will use a 1.5 mm hook, and I know maybe it's a little bit confusing, but let me show you step by step, okay? Okay, this is the slip knot, and then yarn over, and let's make 75 stitches, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 75, okay? So now we are just going on the way back. So yarn over, and 1, 2, 3, and just continue like this until the end here, okay? At the last one we are going to add stitches. See here, 74 stitches already done, and now at the last one, at the 75th one, we are going to add 5 stitches, okay? So we have 1, 2, and 5, okay? So now we are going to do on the way back the stitches, okay? Just cover the line here and keep going like this. Okay, so here we are going to do another 73 stitches, and at the end here we are going to have 5 stitches. We are going to add 5 stitches, okay? So I will see you here. Okay guys, so I did 74 stitches here, and I forgot to tell you that when we start the 5 added stitches, the first one I just put a sign, okay? We will need these signs, so I will put the sign here and then I continue, okay? So I did 74 stitches, and then at the last one, at the 75th one, we are going to add 5 stitches. So let's add 5 stitches. 1, 2, and of course we put a sign at the first one, and 5. Okay, and now just continue the rest. Okay, so 1, 2. I will continue like this the rest, but I will use this cotton, this line, also cotton, to work it inside. This line I will just put it inside, okay, because I want the bag at the end to have a base, a very strong base. So this is not going to show, this is just going to be a hidden color. Okay, so I will introduce this one just for the base to be stronger. Okay, so just continue like this. If you want, you can just continue with the line that you have and do a crochet, but I prefer to have a very strong base, so I will just work, I will continue to work like this, hiding this line. Okay, here we are. I already did the whole row, and I am here where I started the augmentation of 5 stitches, right? So now here, if you see, we have the first one is just going to continue normal stitch, okay, and at the second stitch we are going to add 5 stitches. So let's take out the sign. Okay, so at the first we are going to have 1 stitch. Okay, sorry, I need to cover the line. So the first we just have 1 stitch. At the second we add 5 stitches. Okay, so here we have 1, and we put the sign, and 5. Okay, so here we added 5 stitches. At the third stitch we just make 1 stitch. Here 1 stitch, and at the fourth stitch we are going to add 5 stitches. So 1, and we put a sign at the first stitch. Okay, with 5. So I did 5 stitches. Okay, so now at the fifth one we just have 1 stitch. Okay, 1 normal stitch, and the rest is just normal. Just keep going until the end. So I will continue doing my work until the end here, okay, which is the same as here. We're going to add 10 stitches. Okay, here we are. So I did all the stitches, and now we are here. Okay, so we take out the sign, and the first stitch is normal stitch. Okay, okay, so just make 1 stitch. At the second stitch we are adding 5 stitches. So at the second we are adding 5 stitches. So 1 and 5. So we added 5 stitches here. Okay, and now the next one is just 1 normal stitch. So at the third stitch we just have 1 stitch, make 1 stitch. Okay, at the fourth stitch we are adding 5 stitches. So 1 and 5. So I added the 5 stitches, and the rest at the 5th stitch, just 1 normal stitch. And now we are just going to continue like this on the way back. Okay, here we are. I already finished this row, and now we are going to continue the 3rd row. At the 3rd row we are still going to add 5 stitches on this side and 5 stitches on the other side. Okay, so now let's take out the sign. So now we are going to have the first stitch a normal stitch, just 1 stitch, the second as well, 1 stitch. Okay, and the 3rd stitch we have an augmentation of 5 stitches. So the 3rd stitch we have 5 stitches, 1, 2, and let's put the sign on at the first stitch, and 5. Okay, and next we have 5 stitches, so we are just going to do 5 normal stitches, right? So 1 and 5. In the next stitch we are going to add 5 stitches. Okay, so we have 1, and we put on the sign, and 5. Okay, so now the rest we are just going to do on each stitch 1 stitch. Okay, and go back like this. Okay, so here we are again. I finished the whole row, and now we are going to do this corner. So we are at the 3rd row, and the 3rd row says that we are going to have 2 normal stitches, 2 stitches, 1 and 2. So now at this stitch, the next stitch, we are going to add 5 stitches. So here we have 1, and we put on the sign, and 5. So we did 5 stitches, and next is 5 stitches. So we are just going to count 5 stitches. So let's do 5 stitches, 1 and 5. And the next one we have augmentation of 5 stitches. So here we have 1, and we put back the sign, and 5. So now we are just going to go on the way back. So I finished also this row. Now here I started the 4th row. At the 4th row is the last row where we add 5 stitches on each side. Okay, okay, so here I have the sign, and now we are going to do 2 stitches. Let's take out the sign, let's do 2 stitches. So here we have 1 and 2. At the 3rd stitch we are adding 5 stitches. So now we add 5 stitches here. 1, 2, let's put on the sign in the first stitch, and 5. Okay, so now next we have 9 stitches. Let's do 9 stitches. So we have 1, 1 and 9. And now here we are going to add 5 stitches. So the next stitch is going to have 1, 2, let's put back the sign, and 5. And now just continue with as normal. Just do the stitches all on the way back. So I finished the whole row here, and now I'm doing the corner, which is the 4th row of this corner. So I will just do the same pattern that I did on the other side. Okay, so I started the 5th row. If you see, if you count here, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th row. So I did the whole work. Now I am going to do the corner. At the 5th row, I don't do an augmentation of 5 stitches, but of 3 stitches. So now we take out the sign, and now we have 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then at the 3rd stitch we are going to add 3 stitches. So now we are going to have 3 stitches in 1 and 3. Let me put the sign. At the first stitch we have here 13 stitches, and now let's do 13 stitches. 1 and 13, and next at the 13th one we are going to have 3 stitches in 1, so we are going to add 3 stitches here. So we have 1, 2 and 3. We put back the sign at the first stitch. Now we are just going to do the stitches one by one. 1, 2, and so on, okay, until the end over here. And here we are just going to do the same thing. We are just going to add on both sides 3 stitches. Okay, so I will finish this row and the corners, and I will meet you over here where we are going to do the last row. Okay, so I did as well the 2nd corner, and now I will start the 6th row. Okay, so here I will just do the all the way. This is the 6th row. Okay, I have already started, if you see here, and I will just continue like this until here. Okay, I will meet you here to do the last corner. Okay, so already did this one, and now the last one we are just going to do 1 stitch. So we take out the sign and we do 1 stitch here, and then we are just going to add 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. So now we have 15 stitches. 1, 2, 14. The 15th one we'll take out the sign, and we are just going to have this 1 stitch here, the 15th stitch here. Okay, and now we're going to have in 1 stitch 3 stitches. So we add 3 stitches. 1, 3, and now we are just doing the whole row here like this until we arrive here, and then we just do this other side as well as we did this one. Okay, just adding 3 stitches on both sides. So I will do this side and the corner here, and I will meet you over here to show you the final result. Okay, so here it is. I also finished the other side as I told you. So now in each side I have 6 rows, 6 rows here and 6 rows here, and I have my base in rectangular shape. It's a rectangle, right? And from here I can start to build up the bag. So this is the out part and this is the in part, if you can see here. So now from here I can just continue my work and build up the bag. So I hope it helps you as well, and enjoy, and give me a thumbs up and subscribe, like, and thank you for watching.